Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you guys a crash course in cube roots, square roots, and solving for x. Okay, quick refresher in square roots. Square roots are really similar to exponents. They are a type of exponent, but instead of writing that exponent, it's going to be this funky little division sign that looks like this. And what we put inside our little square root symbol there is a square root. Now, what this is asking for is what number multiplied by itself is equal to 16. So what number multiplied itself is equal to 16? Is it 2? Well, 2 times 2 equals 4, so that's not it. Is it 3? 3 times 3 equals 9, that's not it. 4 times 4, oh, that equals 16. So there is my number, the number that is multiplied by itself to get me to 16. So that is going to be 4. Another example, the square root of 25. What number multiplied by itself gets you to 25? Well, that number is 5, because 5 times 5 equals 25. Moving on, cube roots. We're talking about square roots. We're talking about numbers multiplied by itself. So 2 times, 2 of these numbers. 4 times 4 equals 16. 5 times 5. So I've got 2 numbers multiplied by themselves equaling my square root there. Cube roots, it's 3, okay? So, and the symbol that represents that looks very similar to square roots, only this time it's going to have a 3 next to it. So that tells you that it's a cube root because I'm looking for a number multiplied by itself 3 times in this example to get to 8. So what number multiplied by itself 3 times is equal to 8? Well, could it be 1? 1 times 1 times 1. That just equals 1. How about 2? Does 2 times 2 times 2 equal 8? Yes, it does. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Let's do another example. Let's do 125. It's a little bit more difficult, but we can work it out. So again, what number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 125? Well, we can just go up the line. Could it be 4? Could it be 5? Could it be 6? Let's guess 5. I'm going to do a guess and check here. 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5. 125 times 5. Nope. 25 times 5 is 125. So my answer here is 5. Okay, so that's square roots and cube roots, just that symbol there. Now we're going to move on to some solving for x. Let's start with square roots here. I'm going to say x squared equals 100. So now we're trying to guess the number for the variable here. What number raised to the second is equal to 100? Well, just like when we do SAD/MAG and solving for x, we're going to do the opposite operations. Right now, this x is being raised to the second power. The opposite of that is to find the square root, because that is going to cancel out the square here. But if I do the square root to the left side, I got to do it to the right side. So this just becomes, so my squares drop out because the square root and the raising it to the second power cancel each other out. So I'm left with x equals the square root of 100. And this just becomes what we did up here. What number multiplied by itself is equal to 100? Well, I know that that number is 10. So x has to equal 10. But what's different about these type of problems when you're squaring something is that you need to consider the positive and the negative number. Because if I were to plug this back in to my original equation, we get 10 squared equals 100. Well, that checks out. But what about a negative? What if I had a negative 10 squared? What does that equal? Well, negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. A negative times a negative is a positive, so that one works as well. So that tells me that when I'm doing my square roots and I'm solving for x, my final answer can be positive or negative. Okay? Let's do a cube root one. Very similar to the square roots, only we're not going to have to deal with the negatives there. Let's do x to the third power equals 27. So just like what we did here, we need to cancel out that third power there. And to do that, we're going to use the cube root. Don't forget your 3 there. Cube root left side, cube root the right side. My cubes are going to cancel each other out, so this is going to become x equals the cube root of 27. So this is like saying what number multiplied itself 3 times equals 27. You're going to get this table of the cube roots for the midterm, but it's important to understand the concept. So what number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 27? Well, I know that 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So there's my answer right there. X equals 3. Now this answer is going to stay positive because it doesn't have the same idea of multiplying by itself over here. It has to be positive. If I put a negative in there, it's going to leave me with a negative number inside my cube roots there. So when we're doing the square roots, positive, negative. When we're doing the cube roots, it's going to be positive for the most part, unless I've got a negative number in there. But let's not worry about that right now. Okay? Thanks for watching.